Welcome to Boss Up Babes, helping babes show up, boss up, and thrive. With #1 best-selling author, global influencer, and ultimate boss babe, Carissa Adkins. Carissa is a health and wellness expert and CEO of the 365 Daily Hustle, here to help mompreneurs and career-focused women boss up and reclaim their healthiest life. She is a pro at cutting through the BS and inspiring massive breakthroughs that help women create healthy routines and habits that facilitate personal and professional growth. Are you ready to reclaim your best life, take action, and be a badass boss babe? Let's get to it.
What's up? What's up, you guys? Welcome to the Boss Up Babes show. It's your favorite boss babe, Carissa Adkins. And today we also have another amazing boss babe on the call. We are talking to Katie. She's an expert. I'm going to get into a little bit about what she is doing in her business, how she's helping businesses. But you guys all know that Boss Up Babes, it's a bi-weekly show that's dedicated to all of you entrepreneurs, innovators, hustlers, personal development junkies, and badass women who are looking to show up, boss up, and thrive in life. We always take the deep dive into topics including money, relationships, business, health, resiliency. And today's topic is really no different. It's all about how we can grow our businesses through writing grants and grant writing, something I know nothing about. So I'm excited to pick our expert's brain today. So with me on today's call, we have the amazing Katie. Now, I met Katie about 2 months ago. And from the very moment I opened up her email, you guys, I read this email and I read over her story and her expertise and what she does. And I was like, wow, like I need this chick on my show. And I remember, and I was like, yes, like we need to hear what you have to say. And I remember that. And, with that, you guys, let's just welcome Katie onto the show. Katie, welcome to the Boss Up Babes show, girlfriend. How are you today?
I'm good. Thank you so much, Carissa. I am excited to be here.
Yes. Well, no, I'm excited to have you here. I want to learn how I can grow my business through grant writing. So quick bio, if you guys are listening or watching, because you guys can watch all these episodes on motivationandsuccess.com. So you can actually watch and stream all of your favorite Boss Up Babe shows. You can listen to all these shows on over 50 different listening platforms. So before we kind of do all of that and get into the whole questions and, deep dive, Katie, she's not just a boss babe, right? Because anyone could claim that title. Nope. She is the executive director of a very unique company based out of Omaha, Nebraska that is called Sunflower. And I would describe Katie as dedicated, creative, she's resilient. First of all, she's an entrepreneur, but she's festive. Katie provides high personalized grant research and grant writing services to all types of organizations. Now, we think grants and we a lot of times think nonprofit, but she's going to, hopefully talk us a little bit today about how business owners like you and I who are, how we can grow our businesses through that. So since launching Sunflower Company, she has been able to secure grants ranging anywhere from 5 to 50K. So with that, Katie, I'm excited. You're just a ball of energy and I cannot wait to kind of dive in. And our first question really today is I always like to throw you something that has really nothing to do with,
Sure.
grants or anything like that. So I hope you're open to it. So to get this party started, my question to you is, what was the scariest business investment that you have experienced so far as an entrepreneur?
The scariest business investment, I think just the very beginning, making that first decision to become a business owner. Because my husband and I moved to Omaha from Washington, DC. And so I didn't know anyone here. Mm-hmm. And it really took a long time to make those connections and figure out the way to make those connections. Mm-hmm. Because, cold calling people is really tragic sometimes. It's just like, they don't know who you are. They don't have a connection with you. It feels sketchy or something. It just is not great. So I think that was the scariest part, was really trying to figure out how to make myself available to people in person so we could have a personal connection and then make that grow. And once I figured that out, things really started moving and coming together. But not really knowing anyone and not really having anywhere to grip on to start was really scary.
Oof. Yeah. Like, I mean, we all, if you're an entrepreneur, you remember like that just probably took you down memory lane of like, do I leave my corporate job or my job to like pursue a passion? Like that was a scary moment, I think, for all of us. So
I just remember I remember I would like make all my cold calls like in the first like couple hours of the day. And then I would have like 8 hours left till my husband got home, and I would just be like, oh no, what am I going to do with the rest of the day? And so it was, I remember those were not fun.
Not super fun. Yeah, nobody likes the cold. Now I can't even say that, because I've met people who are like, they thrive on cold calling. I personally don't. I'm like, just something kind of sleazy about it.
But yeah, I think it works the more if you have like history with you too, then it's easier to cold call, and you can say, well, I'm working with all these organizations in Omaha, and then they're like more likely to listen to you. It's really hard when you don't have anyone yet with you or behind you, and you're just sort of like winging it.
It's hearing it, right? Like over the head. Yeah. No, I was just gonna say, so not only did you do that, but you like moved to a new place, like you just like, you uprooted, like kudos. You guys, I told you she was a badass boss babe. Like she has balls of steel. Okay, so yeah, like I would say the scariest investment, it's sometimes, some people think it's financially, some do not. You was just like you stepping outside of your, your comfort zone. You bossed up in so many levels there. But last weekend, I'm sitting there, and one of my biggest investments that I made this in 2021 was, launching my TV show, The Living Real. And I remember thinking, this is crazy. Like, this is crazy cool. Like I'm in studio, I'm in producing, and I'm having so much fun, but because I just got back from Nebraska, and I just got done, producing 4 more episodes with my good friend, Claire Capano. She's a business coach in Denver. So we kind of fly up, we meet together, but it was an investment, right? Like it's an investment still to show up and to put yourself out there. I mean, it's live TV, like we're not getting it back.
Right.
So definitely scary, but totally worth it. You guys, scary things, investing in yourself by sometimes doing the scary things, they pay big, right? When you take risks, you gain. So I love that. Now, Katie, you started telling us a little bit about your story, but I want to know more. So tell me a little bit about how you even got into grant funding, like the business in general. Like, did you always think, oh, it'll be so fun to write grants for people?
No. Definitely not. So my first job out of college was at the Smithsonian, which was amazing and an amazing opportunity. And I was in charge of public programming. And a lot of times to do the public program, you had to raise your own money through getting a grant because there wasn't extra money for it in the budget. So I just slowly learned how to do that. And it kind of went from there. And then after the Smithsonian, I went to the Kennedy Center and sort of continued to do not some grant writing, but I did contract writing then, which was similar. So like contract negotiation for having artists come and things like that. Writing the agreement to outline everything they would do while they were here with us. And then when I moved here, I just decided that I would love to do my own thing. And Omaha is amazing in that it is a very generous city. There is a lot of money in Omaha, and there's a lot of generosity in Omaha, and there are a ton of amazing nonprofits and businesses in Omaha. So I was just really excited to be able to put all those things together and make something work. So I was lucky that it worked out for me.
Absolutely. So you were working for someone else when you moved here. So you had before you moved here, did you know you wanted to start your own thing, or did that?
No, my husband was in the military. So we moved here because of that. So I just came sort of without anything and thought I would just figure it out when I got here, and then sort of went from there.
Like the best plan. We're just gonna figure everything out when we get there. Oh my God. Like that's, and I know that my husband's active duty, and that's what brings us to New Mexico.
Yes,
My
yes.
ex-husband was 15 years active duty, and that's, we were in I remember moving to Germany and
Yes.
not having a car or a plan or anything with his family. It's crazy the way we just like, and maybe that's why we connect like so well, is like that resilient, that bounce back of like, meh, oh, figured it out, and everything will work itself out. Oh my gosh. So before we take a quick break, where can and then we're of course diving right into the meat and potatoes of what I want to talk about today and like how we can grow businesses. But what is the best place that people can find you if they're listening to the second half and they're like, yeah, I need her. I need to have a one-to-one with her.
The best place is my website. There's all my information is there. So that's www.sunflowergw for grant writers and then .com. So sunflowergw.com.
Beautiful. Okay. And then you actually, I remember us having a conversation. So you have like full blown out tips, like what kind of information is on that website besides contact stuff?
Yeah, well, there's information about me, and there are 3 grant writing tips on the page. And if you want the other 7, I have a total of 10. You just have to sign up for my email list, and then I'll email you the other 7. And there's information about different kinds of projects we can do together and all that kind of stuff. And again, like my cell phone number and my email and all that good stuff is on there. I offer a free consultation. So if you just have questions about what working together would look like, or if your project would be a good fit or anything like that, I'm totally happy to talk to you for up to an hour about what your project looks like and how we can make it work.
Okay. Now, I don't work with everyone who signs up for one of those calls, right? Like, do you pretty much, when you keep saying projects, does that mean it's like, are you excited? Or if you're excited about it, do you want to work with them? Like, how does that?
Yeah, we usually, I really click with all my clients, which is great. And I feel like it is important to have that kind of relationship where you feel like you want to work together, because it is a very closely collaborative kind of a thing, especially at the beginning. And I think that's really important to have that kind of connection and not feel like, oh, this girl's annoying, but I'll like have her write my grants. Like that would not probably be a great opportunity.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's a tip right there in itself, you guys. And that's a great way to end, before we take a break. Like the tip was, you don't have to work with everyone, and not everyone is everyone's cup of tea. Like I don't work with every woman who says, I want to lose 20 pounds. I'd be working with everyone, but at the end of the day, like I have to jam with you. We have to be like the same flavor of tequila. You have to be willing to work, you have to be willing to change your life. And because what I do too is it's deep stuff, and it's a lot of intense, communication. So I totally respect the fact that you don't, you do. And there's a lot of entrepreneurs who just, take anything that comes their way. I mean, at first, sometimes we do, but yeah, absolutely. All right, you guys, Katie, website one more time before we take a quick break.
Sunflowergw.com.
Sunflowergw.com. Beautiful. With that, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. 365 Daily Hustle, a global health coaching company helping purpose-driven women boss up and get healthy so that they can truly show up and thrive in the world. We help women lose weight, gain energy, and feel sexy and confident. We do all of this by helping our clients create and build healthy, sustainable habits that support a positive mindset, healthy nutrition, exercise, stress management, and of course, self-care. If you're tired of feeling like a failure when it comes to your body and health goals, please visit our website at 365dailyhustle.com. Oh my gosh, you guys, we are back and we are talking with grant writing expert Katie, founder and entrepreneur at Sunflower. And she's based out of Omaha, Nebraska, but I'm sure she does work everywhere. We're about to get into that. And we're about to get into really the juicy the juicy conversation, the tips, the strategies, and just the information out there. If you're looking to grow a business or start a nonprofit, like we all need money, right? Money is at the core of it, of most of it. And Katie is helping get business owners, small business owners, large business owners, CEOs, things like that, people like that, money, right? At the end of the day. So Katie, I'm curious, like how many grants are out there? And that's probably a loaded question, but how many grants really are out there and available to us?
So for nonprofits, last year, there were about 900 federal grants, which are kind of a beast to apply for. Like that's like a whole thing. It can take about between 100 and 200 hours to complete a federal grant, which is not like applying for just a run-of-the-mill private foundation grant usually takes 5 to 10 hours, just to give you an idea of the difference between that and a federal grant. For private foundations, there were about 65 to 68,000 private foundation grants last year, which is a pretty big number. And like I said, there are a lot of foundations just here in Omaha, which is wonderful. For-profit groups, sometimes I do something a little different, which is I will put together sort of a packet of information about the organization and then find other for-profit organizations that would be a good fit, like a good match for them, and then call those for-profits and say, this company, I'm working with a school right now, for example, that's doing something, and I'm working like a security type thing, and I'm working now with tech companies to try and see if they could help support this school security system. So I'm calling them, then I'm sending in the packet, doing all that. So it's kind of a different approach with for-profits, because sometimes they aren't eligible for some of the nonprofit grants.
Okay. And then like specifically my audience, my watchers, my listeners, all of you, most of them are women. So let's break down. There are probably plenty of, money out there for female entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Definitely. And a lot of grants have that. They'll say, are you woman owned, or there are special women owned grants. And I have several female entrepreneurs in my group right now that I'm working with, who are clients of mine, and we like to go after those, like you said, special grants, that are just for women. Those are always like a huge benefit, I think, when you get a chance to use those opportunities, because it just narrows the field a little bit, and it lets you kind of focus on your your business and the exciting things that you're doing without being in like a bigger pool. So I think that's great.
Yeah, that's cool. So how many people roughly get grants like a year, or like, are they just literally passing out checks to people?
Yeah.
Is it really easy?
It's probably somewhere around like 50 to 70%. So like kind of 60% are getting grants. So that's why it's always good to apply for multiple grants. I make a grant calendar with my clients so we can kind of see what we want to do for the year. Are we applying for 5? Are we applying for 15? What are their goals? What are their needs? And we can kind of mark it out for the whole year to see, and then kind of anticipate that we'll get that like 60% return, and kind of go from there. And the other thing is, once you get a grant from a foundation, you're very likely to get a grant from that foundation again, because then they start to know you. There's a relationship there. You can send them letters throughout the year saying, oh my gosh, we just did this cool project or promotion or whatever, like here's a picture of it, and then it's like you start to become like friends, and then as you go along, they're more excited to support you again because you have that relationship. So that's really important too.
And yeah, you bring up a really great point. Back in my old career, right, I was marketing for a body shop there in town. And I mean, all those organizations that, like we would sponsor one year, they would come back and like the new little baseball player was just too cute and I couldn't tell him no. And I'm like, okay. And you've been sponsoring us for like 7 years.
Yes.
Like, yes. Like the guilty thing is like, okay, we'll sponsor them, write them a check. So it's probably, it works the same way as what you're saying.
Completely.
Cool. What drives, there's probably lots of businesses out there that do what you do. So what drives you to work hard for your clients? Like,
Well, I think one thing is I really try to become like a staff member without actually being a staff member. I try and get to know my clients really well. So that involves maybe going to some of their activities or meetings or, whatever that may be, and get to know them just as well as I can, like really early on, so that I can write as well as I can, understanding what their goals and dreams and everything is without having to just constantly ask them questions. Because again, if I am like in the organization a little bit, then it's easier for me to do that without being like, Krista, can you tell me like, whatever. And so that kind of sets me apart. And then I'm always looking for like extra things for my clients. So the other day, one of my clients was on like Boomer Radio here in Omaha, like talking about their organization and what they had coming up and stuff like that. Like, and I love finding collaborations between my clients, like saying like, you should work with this person and do this, or I love finding, art programs for them to do that are available around the city. If it's like a children's type organization, or there are just tons of things that I love doing that are kind of add-ons that I think make me sort of different, because I'm always looking for those kind of extra opportunities. And I just do that because I really enjoy it.
And that goes such a long way. I mean, it's like when my financial advisor, she's fantastic. She's out of Omaha. Her name's Katie too, but well, yeah. So her name's Katie. And, when the PPP stuff was going on and I was so overwhelmed with it all, she was literally like, hey, I met a banker and this banker literally walked me through every step of the way, got me certain money. And I was like, oh, I forgot about all that. Like, it's too complicated. And she's like, no, it's not. She will do it. She hooked me up and I was like, oh, thank you, Kate. Right. She got no money out. She got nothing out of that transaction, if you will. But oh my gosh, but loyalty, right? She gained loyalty. And,
totally.
And that is really, really important if you guys are out there and you're just, that's a great business tip altogether, is loyalty.
Yeah.
Okay. So if if I were to hire you, what would be some questions that either a business owner, or you can even pretend that I'm a nonprofit executive. What would be some questions that I would expect to be asked?
Well, I definitely always ask, why did you start your business or start your nonprofit? What motivated you to do that? I always want to know that. I always want to know what your goals are. Again, sort of, looking ahead for the year, what, are you trying to raise $10,000 or $100,000 or what, and what are those specific goals? And then, I put together a sheet, and it'll just be information that I'll just need from you, some basic information, like your tax ID number, but, also maybe some questions if you could do one program or promotion or something this year, what would it be? Or just just some different questions to get us both thinking about, how we want to work together and kind of what the future holds. So, yeah.
Sure. As the expert, do you find that there's a better time of year to be applying? We're kind of in the last quarter 4, I'm thinking, I already think future 2022 goals. That's what I'm thinking as an entrepreneur, but what's the best time to apply and get?
Definitely. So grants are definitely cyclical. And so there's a big push in March, and there's a big push in August. There's a big push now at the end of October, and then very early November. So, once this passes, this early November, I'll probably be starting to work with my clients on their 2022 goals and schedules and everything. Because December, not much happens grant wise, because everyone's kind of checked out for the year.
Holiday hat is on already.
Holiday and all that good stuff. So, so that's kind of, it's like I said, it's pretty cyclical. There are 3 or 4 big times of the year where a lot of grants are due. And then, at the end of the year, I kind of take the time to kind of wrap everything up and figure out, I usually make sort of a big push for some new clients too. I get new clients all year long, but I will make a push at the end to the end of the year to see if I can get some new clients too. So
okay. So with a couple minutes left on the show, I want some rapid fire tips, or advice, predominantly tips. So 3 tips that would help someone, like me, or who wants to apply for grant funding. What tips would you give us?
Yes. I think one thing is a lot of people don't have their financial paperwork in order, and that's really important because foundations almost always require that. Like 99% of the time, they either want an audited financial statement or a 990 or both, but you'll need one of those things. You can't just turn in like a budget you made on Excel.
What? My budget on Excel will work?
So you just have to do something. And there are different ways to do that. But so that would be one thing I would say, is just to get your financials in order. The other thing is to definitely, know how to tell me that story of why you started your business and everything, and have that passion so that I can put that on paper and, kind of know your story and where you want to go before we even meet. So I can transfer that onto paper. And then the other tip would be like, it is a competition. Like you need to put your best foot forward. Like, it's not, like I said, like only 60% of people are usually getting grants and sometimes less. So it's like a job application or something. Like you need to you need to have it be as perfect and great as it can be, and selling all your high points and all that. Cause it's a lot of people are competing with you for the same dollars.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah. So you gave us 3 amazing tips, by the way. Are those some of those tips that people can expect, if they sign up for your newsletter?
Yes.
Like, are you going to give them all the juicy tips that they need to probably know?
Definitely.
Beautiful. Katie, one final thought, and if you have any final, thought for ending the show today.
I just think that, I love grant writing, and I think there's a grant out there for everyone. There really is. Like, no matter what your dream is or your plan, like we can find something to make it work. On LinkedIn, I usually do like different posts about, like the other day was National Button Day, and I was talking about like, buttons and facts and figures and things like that. But there's a grant out there for everything. So don't sell yourself short. And if you even have a question about it, give me a call. Like I said, I do a free consultation, and I'm happy to talk to you and see if it's something I think we can make work.
I love that. Well, that's beautiful advice. Like, just do it, just try, no matter what your reservations are, right? Like, oh, my business is weird or whatever. Like, just call Katie, you guys. She's a world of knowledge. You guys, like, we literally unpacked 20 minutes of like awesomeness. So with that, Katie, thank you so much for being on the Boss Up Babe Show. I hope you had a good time.
I had a great time.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you guys, with that, it is the last couple of months of 2021. So get ready, right? I always like this is one of my favorite times of year because it's time to plan for the future, right? There's still time. There's still time to get shit done in this year. So don't lose focus, don't lose track. But now is the time, like, think about what it is, where you want to take your business, what you want to do in 2022, because anything is possible as long as you believe in yourself and you have courage, like Katie did, stepped out and said, you know what, dang it, I think I'm going to do my own thing. So I love it. Katie, thank you so much again for being on a show. And with that, I hope you guys all have a fantastic couple of weeks. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for listening to Boss Up Babes with Carissa Adkins, bringing you tangible tips and expert coaching advice to help you boss up and get healthy. Tune in every second and fourth Tuesday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com for interviews with industry leaders and powerhouse boss babes that will empower you to take action and live your best life. If you're ready to boss up and work with Carissa in one of her transformative group coaching programs, visit 365dailyhustle.com.